Okay, so you're starting off where we left off last week. And if you didn't get this part, make sure and go back and watch the part 1 of the course project. We're going to add to this program. And this week we'll add input validation and a count to show how many guesses the user took before getting the correct number. I think we actually added that last week because I used it as part of controlling my loop, but I'm going to change that here in a minute because of the requirements. I think they want me to allow them as many guesses as possible. Well, it does say 10. No. Here they're checking if the number's between 1 and 10, but they're not tracking how many. They do keep count of how many times they guess, but they do not use that to control the loop. So we're going to change that so the loop will go until they guess the number. And then we're going to check for data validation. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is change this loop so it's no longer controlled by how many times they've guessed, but just whether they've actually guessed our number yet or not. So I'm going to check to see if my num is not equal to guess. So until they guess my num, while they've not guessed my num, it's going to continually go through this loop. And since I made a change there, I'm going to run this and make sure that works. Okay, something in there it did not like. It didn't like guess. Oh. I have not declared guess before this, so I guess I will start with guess equal to 0, and that'll let it get down to where the user can input the guess. And since it should be a random integer between 1 and 10, it should not be 0, so that should work. There we go. So now we can try guessing and make sure that's working. It happened to be 9 in this case. I've actually just added a statement to kind of help me with my troubleshooting. And I put in this print. Now I want to take this out, but this is telling me the value of the number up front. So as I'm testing it, I'm not having to guess what the number is. I know what the number is. Okay, so one of the things we're going to add into this is checking to make sure that they're entering a number between 1 and 10. And I also want to make sure that they're not entering a letter, and that's why I allowed them to enter here as a string, because if I don't, it'll just crash my program if they enter a letter. So as soon as I get my guess, I'm going to check the guess and see if guess is greater than or equal to 1. And notice I'm putting it in quotes. And they alphabetize numbers in the ASCII table, if that makes any sense, but it determines how I write this second part to make sure it's an ASCII number. So I'm then going to check to see if guess is less than. Okay, so now we'll give it a run. We want to check and make sure this is working and that now we are not able to enter letters. Oh, I did not finish that. What am I doing? All right. So if it is both of those, then we'll start checking to see if it's too high or too low. And trying to make sure I'm lining, getting everything lined up. So if else if too high, you guessed it. And this has to all be up under there. And now we'll have an else that goes with, sorry, going the wrong way. Lines up under the this if. All right, so if it's less than 2, then we'll print a message and tell them no letters, numbers 1 through 10 only. And I need that else under this if as well. I don't think that's lining up. There we go. No letters, numbers. Apparently I'm forgetting my S's today. And all right, now inside of that, after I've now converted guess to integer, is when I want to start checking to see if my guess is less than or equal to 1, and is my guess, I said that backwards, that was greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 10. If it is, then I'll start guessing here. And outside of that if is my else that says enter numbers 1 through 10 only. Okay. All right, so I'm going to continually let them guess until they've guessed it correctly, but then when they get done, I want to tell them so this should line up with this while. So once they've guessed it, we come out and print you guessed it. in guesses is the number of times they guess. You guessed it in that many guesses. And then I want a blank line in there before, oops, that's what I did that, I didn't like that. And then just a blank line, and do you want to play again? All right, so I'm going to give that a run. Oh, forgot colon. Okay, so I realized to let all my numbers through, I have to do to 99. And that's how I had it in the beginning. I changed it, and it should be 99, and that way it's going to allow all my numbers to pass through. Okay, so my number is 2. And I'm going to start with a letter, a number too high, 0. Now try 9, 8, 7, 10, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 1. And now I can guess it. And it only took me 10 guesses. Do I want to play again? Yes, just to make sure my loop works. And it loops back. And now my number is 7, so I'm going to just guess it. And no, I don't want to play again, so it will quit. All right, so if you take the document from last week, we have not changed our processing here. You could add to it in our processing that if it's too low or if it's too high, then we have to add 1 to guess. So we could add that in our processing section. And you can add in the, if it's a letter error, or if it's not equal to 1 through 10 error, and that would add into your processing section here. Then you have your code and our test cases, what you expect to get, and what you actually, then the screenshot that shows what you do get. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. Thank you. Have a great day.